I thought Michael B. Jordan was solid because Michael B. Jordan is
Hot.
there. It is. Michael B. Jordan is incredibly handsome. He
He's
is
incredible.
very charismatic.
Yes.
You know what I mean? Mustache was so impressive. I was like, God damn. And what's up, y'all? Welcome to another episode of the For All Nerds Show. It's your boy, DJ Benhameen, a.k.a. the Ghost in the Shell Toe. Doctor Who's Mans is this? Master Splinter Cell, Trinidad Bane, Arsenio Holodeck here in the spaceship tonight. And as always, I'm joined by
Tatiana King, the Grand Duchess of Tech, also known as Dark Chocolate Phoenix, Trash Ketchum, Tatiana Hannah the King, Kodak Blackwoods, and Tesseract Thompson.
We are here. It's a very special episode tonight. We've been doing a lot of recording. If you're a fan of the show, if you're subscribed and following, we've been dropping a lot of heat for you. But tonight, or today, whenever you're watching this, we have a very special review of the new Ryan Coogler film, Sinners, in theaters this Friday, April 18th. We got to see it, and we're going to tell you all about it in a spoiler-free review. At least at the beginning, we will give you full warning before we get into any real spoilers or any spoilers at all.
Yeah.
So right now, if you haven't seen the film, you can listen away and you will not be spoiled. And we will give you a big alert and a warning before we get into any spoilers.
Exactly.
Yep. Right off the bat, overall feelings on the film, I feel like everyone needs to go see this shit this weekend. That's my first thought. Like, I just really want this movie to make all the monies in the world. I want Ryan Coogler to be recognized as the great filmmaker that he is outside of the Black Panther franchise. And I think he delivered a really solid vampire film that crosses a lot of different genres. And, it's just a great, like, we're in April, this is the beginning of the summer movie season. If you've been peeping our other reviews of like Amateur and I saw G20. I did a quick review of that. Shout out to my man Rodimus Prime. It's been slow. It's been a little lackluster in the film department. Even something like Mickey 17 early this year, which was like, a director we all know and love. You know what I mean? That's the god. Did Parasite. Missed. Whiffed at bat. Ryan did not whiff. That is what I can safely say. Ryan came up, hit a nice little home run. Even if I wouldn't say, I'd say it's a home run. This is a damn home run. You know what I mean? So go see Sinners. That's just my overall thing. Go see this shit.
My main takeaway, particularly as I was on the way home, was, is this Ryan Coogler's best film he's ever made to date?
Wow.
And has it, at least for me, surpassed Black Panther? And I don't know yet.
Negro, please.
I don't know yet for me. Because when it comes to Ryan stuff, Black Panther is the top. And then as just a film, Black Panther is at the top for multiple reasons. But
go on. Keep on.
That's fine if you feel that way.
No, I want to hear
this way.
I know, I want to hear this.
I mean, you heard it.
I need more.
That's the level I'm looking at this at. This shit is the most phenomenal piece of work, particularly from Ryan. And also just for me, I felt cinema on this. I literally like I use that meme a lot, the whole "this is cinema" guy meme, but like I was literally, there were points where I was physically in tears. And I understand that it was more so just about the emotions being invoked. And what really got me when it comes to Sinners was the beauty of all of it. It was gorgeous from the moment the light came up on the screen. I was taken aback immediately. And this is why I made the connection or comparison to Black Panther, because that first, like, I don't know, minute, 2 minutes, I was gagged. I was in tears immediately. And I felt something like that. I don't know if we're going to surpass it, but like, this is on some other shit for me. I really fucked with Sinners heavy. I really, truly enjoyed it. You mentioned something that I was going to say, the fact that I felt like it dived into a lot of different genres and it was so Black.
Yep.
It was so black. It was just like how Ryan himself is very unapologetically black. He don't code switch. He don't do nothing. He'll tell you about the 70mm film versus 35mm with that thick Oakland accent, and nothing changes about him. Like, that's what I liked about this shit. Is mad authentic. This shit is mad genuine, mad real, and it is entertaining as fuck. And at the end of the day, you got to remember that this is also a movie. This is also meant to make millions of dollars. Like, that's what a movie is. Yes, it's supposed to invoke emotion. Yes, it's supposed to be a work of art, which for me, this is. It's also supposed to make money. And damn it, if y'all don't see this film this weekend, see this shit right away. Forget about the fact that people are going to spoil you anyway. Please listen to me when I say you need to see this for yourself to really experience what's going on. I just immediately, this shit is a big yes for me. Now, what did you want to say about that?
I'm still waiting for what, like, okay, I mean, like I said, I thoroughly enjoyed it. All right, and this is the thing, like, there are a lot of firsts in this film, just sadly because of the state of the world we live in. Like, this is one of the first vampire films that I can remember that features, black people, or like a majority black cast.
I was gonna say not just black people, the majority, because there's Blade, but majority black cast is probably the first. Maybe
this is the first, and then obviously not obviously, but another thing is
non-independent films. I'm sure there's mad.
I'm sure there's films. Multiple independent films, and I can't give Vampire in Brooklyn. This ain't that either. I mean, I like Vampire in Brooklyn, but that's not a it's Eddie Murphy, but it ain't like there's some other black people.
Is that supposed to even be a serious movie?
It ain't overly serious. No,
it's not. Is it supposed to be period a serious movie? It's starring Eddie Murphy. Like,
but Eddie does a lot of serious stuff too. Remember, and this is later Eddie Murphy career. Eddie does do serious. You never saw what do you call it?
I didn't say he doesn't do serious. I said Dolomite? Vampire in Brooklyn.
Yeah, I mean, I feel you. Yeah. No, it's just not good Eddie Murphy. That's cheaper for real. It's not like you're putting that in your top 10 Eddie Murphy films. And I really enjoyed. There's a lot of things that also in this, like Ryan's use of film, like his really hardcore use of film in this to me, because my man did not clean up an inch.
Oh no!
Of that footage.
Like, as you're watching, you can tell you're watching real film. It's not digitalized in the way that we're used to, where it's like that they cleaned it up, 8K ultra 9000p. Look that no, it doesn't look like that. It has a lived-in look. It has a flesh and blood look, if you will, right? Because this is true film. We saw it in IMAX, so that's another thing I wanted to make mention. See it on the biggest screen you can. If you can see it on IMAX, see that whole in IMAX. If you can't, put two movie screens together and watch that together, because I don't like. There is so much to take in visually for this film, and I know the questions that you're having, Ben, about like, well, why do I feel this way? I think as we go along, I'm going to start answering them. Number one, this is probably one of the answers is just, it was a visual feast for me. And again, the centering of Black people, Black characters, and Black things is what like really pushed it over that top for me when it came to how much I really truly just immediately embraced this film and how much I love it.
I did all that, and I don't know. It didn't. I'm not saying that it didn't hit me where I'm like, oh, damn, whatever, No, I really enjoyed.
You feel differently. That's all.
Yeah, and I did. I would not put it above Black Panther. That's just that's personal. And also,
that's what I said, I don't know. That's
and
hard.
I also just think Black Panther is just I think that's one of Ryan's best works. And I think Wakanda Forever is. I wouldn't put it above Wakanda Forever, especially given what he had to go into, but. I would say that this is a great film. I think Ryan is a very accomplished filmmaker where he doesn't really do whack shit, and he's not going to have like whack shots or, any of that type of thing. And it's always going to have a very professional thing. I really did like his use of film in this. It really made me wonder, like, how much movies that I grew up watching were cleaned up, or maybe it's just nostalgia where I don't remember seeing so much film grain and spots and various things of that nature when I was growing up watching movies. But I guess that's just nostalgia. And then like a lot of times I would watch like VHS and DVDs later on where they cleaned it up. The version they put on the VHS is usually the cleanest copy they could find.
Okay.
And so that's how, you wouldn't see all these spots and things of that nature. And it's probably be different for every time you see this film, because there's probably be different versions of it with different spots, different
There
areas,
are.
yeah,
There,
things of that nature.
didn't he shoot on various films for
Yeah,
this?
he shot this on definitely on. I mean, you see it during the film. The aspect ratio changes as you're
Yep.
watching the film. It goes
Yep.
from widescreen to cinematic to IMAX to like what is basically an iPhone view, filling up the whole screen. And it does that at various points. I'd have to see it again to see when he's doing it and why
Yeah.
exactly, because I wasn't,
Yeah.
exactly sure.
When you and I did, it's like I noticed without noticing what you're mentioning, just the aspects ratio changing and all the things. And I think I realized like when it's at its most widest, when you see most of the screen is when they're outdoors.
Mm.
And
It definitely turned to action for it. It went,
yeah,
widescreen cinematic with the black bars on top and bottom when a lot of the action was
yeah,
happening.
the action was more focused.
Yeah.
Whereas when you have landscapes and outdoors, it was more broad where you
Yeah.
can really see the world. So, and I know like even stuff like that makes me want to watch the film again. Like, yes, the story and all that stuff, but just even to see the choices he's made, because now that I'm consciously looking for that, to see when he made those directorial decisions, right?
Yeah.
Or and I don't know who his principal photography person was, or if
DP.
his DP, like who did that or whatever, but like having that conversation with your DP and like making that shit work and making that shit translate in this type of story. And this is not a spoiler, as y'all know. The story is just it features Michael B. Jordan playing twins. And they give you, or they try to give you, a view of the world from both twins' perspective, right? And whether they're both on the screen together or when they're separated, you get to see what they're doing. So I'm wondering, like, did the screen change depending on which twin was around? Like as I'm like, there's so much stuff that I'm sure we just or I missed simply because I was so enthralled by everything. But even what you're saying makes me go, damn, that shit is good. Like Ryan is that nigga. He really truly is. He is also insane, like insanely funny, insanely comedic. Like the things that I was laughing at, I'm like, this man is crazy, but in the most, again, entertaining way. Yo, what's up, fam? It is I, Tatiana King, and I want y'all to know that I need you to do me a favor. Please share this show. You're listening to us, you're watching us, but you're gatekeeping, and I don't understand why you're doing that. I really need you to share with your friends, share with your mama, share with your cousin, share with everybody, because if you're like me, you love to share the joy, and it's really important that you do that. So please tell people about ForAllNerds. I love you.
I think the thing is, like, for me, it's like knowing Ryan the way, I mean, I don't know him personally, but having, watched enough interviews from him and knowing his age and the things that, like, when he was talking about this film, they asked him what was his favorite vampire movie. And before that guy could even finish, he said Lost Boys. And that's pretty much me. Like, I cannot think of vampires without thinking of Lost Boys. I think it's not even just a vampire movie. I think it's a damn near perfect film in general. Like, I tell people all the time, if you want to watch a film and learn about screenwriting, shit of that nature, watch Lost Boys, read the script, etc. It's fucking incredible, and so that's one of my reference points. And there's references to Lost Boys in this film that were very direct, and I was, appreciative of that shout out. And then there's a lot of other things, like I said, there's some stuff that we'll get into in the spoiler part. But I'm like, oh, I know Ryan grew up watching the same 80s action films that I grew up watching. Like, it is a guarantee that he is a big fan of, like, the Commandos, all the Schwarzeneggers, anything from that nature, Stallone, Schwarzenegger, onto Van Damme and Siegel and Steven Seagal, yeah. But definitely all the early 80s action films, he is definitely a big fan of that. And then it's story-wise, it is definitely a very black ass From Dusk Till Dawn. If you've seen From Dusk Till Dawn,
I would agree to that.
Yeah, if you've seen From Dusk Till Dawn, you will know the plot of this film pretty much. It is that same type of film where it is two films in one. You get one film and then you get another film when these vampires show up. And so I enjoyed that. I love From Dusk Till Dawn. It's another great film. And so that's what I'm saying. I thought it was a very well done film with a lot of, references and influences. And then the blackness of it, I really appreciated. I really appreciated the music in the film. And
damn, the music was good.
Yeah.
Ludwig Göransson, who also was his partner on the Black Panther films, and Ludwig is he's like the god when it comes to
I'm tired of seeing his name, though, man. I just want to see a black man show up in that spot, man. I'm sorry.
There's other gods.
I'm sorry. It's like
there's other gods of film scoring, but Ludwig is one of them.
He's great. He is great.
Out of control.
There's no doubt about it. I just want to see a black man show up in this spot, especially when you're doing this black ass music.
Yeah, I get it. That's absolutely fair.
But he's great. There's no,
still gonna get Ludwig his
flowers. Yeah, that's what I'm saying. He's great.
Flowers. He fucking did that.
No, he did that. He did it. He did it. Like he did that, and he did it on Black Panther. Like that's one of my favorite scores. I'm not ever knocking him, man. It's just like,
I don't think you're knocking him at all.
I just want to see the brothers, and the sisters.
What I really also enjoyed about this film in a lot of ways is also a period piece. And you see that in the clothing, you see that in the costuming, the deep connection to Black culture and the costuming. And this is also, the timing is incredible because in May, during this year's Met Gala, the theme is essentially Black dandyism. And the one thing that makes me mad about it, even though I'm so happy for that theme, is the fact that it's so long that we got here, and also that Andre Leon Talley passed. He was the king of that.
So, I mean, I'm mad about that in general because the whites are going to show up in Black dandyism.
I don't know what they're going to show back. Honestly, to be honest, they're probably not, because no one ever follows the fucking theme properly anyway.
This is going to be so bad.
But for those who are listening, just to give you more vision about what we're talking about, like think Coleman Domingo. Not everything he wears, but a lot of what he wears features a lot of that approach in terms of suiting and tailoring, and like, again, the connection to Black culture and what that means, the Sunday's best. And as I mentioned, this being a period piece, this is set, what years was this set in? Like the 40s, something like that? 30s?
Yeah, it's 30s because it's after World War I. I don't think it's after World War II.
Okay, so think about that. And when you combine that with, again, the vision and the setting of where they are, and it's unbelievable what they did with this costuming. Then you combine that with the music. The music is out of control, just in terms of, it is lots of period as well as mixture with the modern. It's lots of remnants of the past mixed with the visions of the future. It's so much that he's putting into this that for me is so cohesive of the Black American experience particularly, and then of the diaspora itself, because that's touched upon. So again, just these are just things that just really stood out for me. And the casting, I am so freaking happy that Wunmi Mosaku was one of the main casts on this. Like, Wunmi, she needs to be given as many platforms as she fucking wants to be on, because especially like for me, I know she's been on other stuff, but for me, I discovered her through when Lovecraft Country was on HBO, and how incredible she was, and how she brought out that character, and how much I knew about. And we were very familiar with the book Lovecraft Country. So to see her bring that to life and then be here in this film, along with Hailee Steinfeld, who I love since True Grit, along with Delroy Lindo, just the people, the ensemble cast that you saw.
What's the brother's name who they introduced in this film?
Miles Caton.
Yes,
Miles
big
Caton.
shout out to him. He did a fantastic job.
Yeah.
And I guess he was singing in those scenes, and he's an incredible singer as well.
Wow. So, and of course, starring Michael B. Jordan as two characters. I do want to ask, how do you feel? You're like trying not to. You
don't want to ask.
How do you feel about his dedication to his twinness in this film?
I thought Michael B. Jordan was solid because Michael B. Jordan is
hot.
There it is. Michael B. Jordan is incredibly handsome. He is very charismatic.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? The nigga's mustache was so impressive. I was like, God damn, why is my mustache feeling so weak right now?
Skimpy looking at his shit like, damn.
Shit was big.
Hey, yo.
Pause. This nigga's mustache was thick.
Like, damn, how he get that shit like that?
Damn. You know what I mean? Like, I'm always like, it's just like I always talk about the time I went to the Captain Marvel set and I realized, okay, I'm an average looking human being, because like these people are fucking gorgeous. And this is why they're getting paid millions of dollars to do these roles.
Yeah.
And Michael B. Jordan, to me, to sum it up, is like, I still someone once said it about like David Duchovny, where it's like he's a, you know, he's 1 to 2 notes, but he plays those chords. He plays them very well. You know? And I've seen Michael do, like, you know, I go back to The Wire with Michael.
I was gonna say,
so Wallace, you know, that's my boy. You know, like, I didn't think he was bad or anything. It just was. This also is not the film where it's like you're looking for, you know, a man to play 2 twins and really be like, oh my God, you know, wow, look what he did. This ain't Orphan Black. You know, I'm not looking for that in this film.
Where you're just looking for completely
different characters. Yeah, I'm not looking for that. And they're not supposed to be different characters. They're supposed to be 2 twins who spent their whole life together, who are both gangsters. You know, it's like,
so they're similar.
Yeah, they're very similar dudes. It's like one might be
one might be slightly more off the cuff than the other.
Yeah, but
they're
it's
both
only
similar.
Slight. You know, it's very, you know,
very
both
slight.
of them is off the cuff. Like, neither one of them has any problem putting the hammer down when the hammer needs to be put down, in both ways, you know, in every way you want to think about.
Yes, I mean, y'all see it all in the trailers, but I agree.
Shout out to Bella Marker, who said Michael B. Jordan just wanted to sleep with 2 different, a white woman and a black woman.
Let's not. Michael was solid.
I mean,
and like you said, just he's was fun to watch.
Yes,
on screen, and to see him, and at times chewing the scenery.
Yes,
because the man knows how to chew some fucking scenery.
He does know, and that's the thing. That's like, I think Michael is like one of them dudes. Who you know, it's like, I'm gonna go see him in any role he is ever in.
Anything this man does,
anything.
I'm going,
and I want to see him do all kind of shit. You know, just to see what he brings to it. You know,
yes. Like, I just want to see how is he gonna do it, right? Yes. What's he gonna look like doing it?
Yes.
And I could tell, you know what? I can also tell, like, as he continues in his career, he's become, and especially working with Ryan, right? He'll Ryan tell him jump off the bridge, he'll probably fucking do it, right?
Yep.
For the shot, right? Like,
for
him to see him stretch himself and really try to do it. And I know you said sometimes he may place the same kind of role a lot, but I can tell that as he's continuing and growing, that he is trying to just go out there more as much as possible. And even he's also known of like being put in these situations where you're really fucked up emotionally. I just feel like a lot of the characters he gets always get in these situations, with the exception of maybe Killmonger, where he's really fucked up emotionally. Something truly fucked up happens to him, and he has to express that on screen. And that in itself is hard as hell. Like, because especially when you're internalizing that stuff, like that fucks you up as a person. So I get it. But I could tell he's trying to go outside of himself. I can tell.
It's one of those things. It's like, I'm trying to think of an actor.
It's a good thing, by the way. My comments were positive in nature.
Yeah, and it's the same thing with me. It's like, I'm trying to think of an actor who compares to that, where it's like most of the time they're the same person, and then every now and again they'll get a role, and you're like, oh shit, you know what I mean? And so I'm just waiting for them. Oh, I mean, like, to me, Wallace as a youth was one of his old shit roles, where, you know, he killed Wallace, and so it's like now as an adult, I feel like he's settled into, you know, his charisma and everything, carrying him through these roles. And I'm just waiting for that one where he really has to stretch it.
Yeah. And you said basically a bit about how the story is. And I just wanted to add that you come into this film seeing a story as one thing.
Yeah.
And then, as everyone knows, there's vampires here. Once the vampires hit, this shit turns into something different. Okay?
Yes.
Like something different. And it takes a while. I'm going to tell y'all, it takes a while to get there. But when it gets there, holy shit.
Yeah, I guess it did, but it didn't feel like it to me.
It didn't feel like a slog. It does take, the payoff is not necessarily immediate. Like, a lot of people may go in there like, all right, right. I'm just saying, you get some things, you get a taste, and then they set you up. They set you up nice. And then pow, when the shit goes off, when it's time for the pain, it's time for the pain. And you really get thrown into a completely different world, a mix of genres. Like this, I'm sorry, Sinners was fucking fantastic for me. I love this movie. This is a film that I want to see again. I want to see again immediately. I told you that when we were finished. And just, it was just so many things that not only I enjoyed, but stuff that I just thought was hilarious. And I'm like, I've and Ryan wrote this. So I'm just like, man, what was you? I can't wait to have an opportunity to speak with him. What was you thinking when you wrote this certain scene this way? I'm just so curious, and I'm waiting for him to say, I just did what I did, cause like whatever, like I just did just
like I said,
because.
I think a lot of it is that the influences that we grew up on, because that's what I just saw it all over this movie. Like I said, Lost Boys, because Lost Boys is that same way, where Lost Boys is alternately horrifying, hilarious. Like I quote that movie all the time because they're just some of the funniest lines in the world to me, where it's emotional, all these different things, and then that whole it also had that like Mello, shout out to Mello again, where he felt like it was reclaiming a lot of Tarantino shit. And that's a lot of stuff that, we all grew up on. And Tarantino is hugely influential to filmmakers, especially of, a certain generation. And he's also, a bit problematic. And so I think that was in the same way that anytime like a POC filmmaker who's, about his shit gets a chance to really make a film, they're going to have a lot of that influence on them, and they're going to address a lot of things when they, make films like this. And I think just the blackness of it very much does that, very much so. And like
Yeah.
you, I really, like I say, the music is very special to me in this film. I was just talking to Mellow Marketer again about it, Mellow Brown, because he got to see the joint as well. And I was just like, yo, man, I'm really glad that we got this idea out in Jimi Hendrix Purple Haze before this film came out.
Yeah, man. Yeah, man.
Because
I
it,
mean, go ahead.
it's just like we have an idea in Jimi Hendrix Purple Haze in our graphic novel about the river of black music, and it's one of the main themes of our book. And that really comes up heavy in this film. And so that was just really dope to me to see someone else thinking along the same lines, because like I said, this idea of the river of black music is not something, an original idea that I came up with. It's just something that people, when you study black music in America, like what I recently came to the conclusion is that black people, we only make blues music. Like pretty much we've always made blues music, and we're still making blues music to this day. It's just technology and time changes, and that allows for different interpretations of it. But it's
Yeah.
always the blues. And that's exactly what Ryan says in Sinners. And I was just like, oh shit, nigga. Like I
I get
love it.
it.
Yeah. I mean, I
The
guess I was thinking
personification
the
of
same
that.
shit. Yeah.
Yeah,
I mean,
yeah.
yeah.
No, that I think that's again just beautiful. And you see that mind meld almost, like even though you had no words with Ryan, like that idea, that mind meld. And
because it's out there. It's like what all ideas come from the universe, come from
correct,
this
yeah.
energy, and it's once it's out in the world, it's usually multiple people are thinking it at the same
Yeah.
time.
And I learned that from the book Big Magic. So
Yep, me too.
so that's what that theme, that approach you're talking about. That's something where I read from that.
Yeah.
Just to come full circle with what you're saying, also what I said at the top of this review, the emotion, and I'm very sensitive to music. I'm hugely into music, and it really touches me on another level. And when you combine that with some shit that I really fucking truly care about, one of them being black people, my people, our people, and combining that with music and our and this film is really a lot about the magic of black people, the power of black people, our inherent, blatant, whatever power you want to say, whatever side of the fence is on, like the deepness and the depth of how much we have and how much we are, and how it's for generations has always tried to be stamped out by others. And that was one of the major takeaways I've got from Sinners, just about all of that, just how powerful we are as a people. And I'm sorry if that sounds very like pulpit of me, but like I that that shit, that line hit my head immediately, and I was crying on particular because of the music. And there's one particular expression of that in the film where I legitimately was sitting there, tears rolling down my face, and I was just like this, like I don't want nobody to see me, but I was like, I don't want them to see me, be like, are you okay?
Yeah.
But just to sum up this film and how I felt about Sinners in one word, I would say this was satisfying.
Yeah. Oh, I mean that I'd say beyond satisfying. Like it's the best film I've seen this year, and I mean I've seen some
Well,
bad
you said it
movies this
earlier.
year.
That's not saying too much
No,
because
it's
this
not
year
really
has
saying
not
too
been
much.
that good.
It's been light, but you
This
know,
year
like
has not been that good so far.
I mean, yeah.
Mm.
Damn,
Yeah, nah, bro, nothing.
I mean, I
It's light.
consider Andor a movie, you know, and I've seen some of that, and that shit is, you know,
You are considering it, but the truth is, it's a TV show.
yeah, but
So
they filmed it as if like even Gilroy, the creator, said he made 8 movies in the last 5 years because he's talking about, you know,
sure,
every 3 episodes is one film.
I
Oh,
love the creative spirit. It's
you'll
still,
see. Oh, you'll
I'm
see.
sure I
No.
will. I love the creative spirit. It's still on quote TV.
Yeah, but
So
that's still, I mean, that's, you know, that you can't use that as a barometer anymore. You know, it's like you have to go beyond that. It's like it's all Andor's film. Andor's fucking cinema. You want to talk cinema? It's cinema. It's beyond, you know. So that's still the best thing I've seen this year. Sinners is second. Hey y'all, thank you for watching this For All Nerds video. Whatever video it was that you just watched, make sure you hit these buttons below. Press all those buttons, that like, that subscribe, whatever you see right below these fingertips right here. Just hit them, hit them, hit them. For All Nerds Show is a member of the Loudspeakers Network, where we always say rest in peace to our founder, Combat Jack.
For All Nerds Show is powered by our listeners. Everything we do, from our podcasts, live events, our website, are all independently funded. Please continue to support us through our Patreon page at patreon.com/forallnerds.